This conference will now be recorded.
Can you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Hutchins,
Here.
Commissioner Ayala,
Here.
Commissioner Cassidy,
Here.
Vice Mayor Cos,
Here.
and Mayor Pugh.
Here. All right, we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, everyone, you see the agenda before you. Are there any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda? All right, hearing none. Would anybody like to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right, presentation and proclamations. Kelly?
Anybody here from the Visual Vibes team for presentation? No?
Okay, thank you.
Everybody has the presentation.
All right, you want to do the announcements?
I can do that. The meeting schedule for the next month is as follows. The regular town commission meeting will be on Monday, April 1st at 6 p.m. Community standards hearing on Tuesday, March 5th at 10 a.m. Planning and zoning meeting on Tuesday, March 26th at 9 a.m. The Board of Adjustment meeting will be canceled for March 20th. There's also a joint meeting of the Town Commission and Planning and Zoning Commission that will be held on April 8th at 10 a.m. All meetings are held in the Commission chambers at Town Hall. The annual municipal election will be held on March 19th. There are 2 Town Commission seats open for a 3-year term and 1 Town Commission seat open for a 2-year term. Qualified candidates appearing on the ballot are Jeff Pugh, Nicholas Marsali, David Hutchins, and Mayor Ayala. Real quick, just a reminder that the last day to request a mail-in ballot is this Thursday, March 7th at 5 p.m. The Town Commission consider appointments of the following board positions at the May 6th Town Commission meeting. Board of Adjustment, 2 regular members for a 3-year term, and the Planning and Zoning Commission, 2 regular members for a 3-year term. Interested residents must be registered to vote in Ocean Ridge and submit a resume and letter of interest to the town clerk by the deadline of April 26th at 3 p.m. And residents who wish to sign up to receive important town notifications and news through Civic Ready should sign up on the town's website or call town hall assistance.
All right, looks like the folks from the proclamation are here. So if you want to.
Right. Let's go back to that. Visualize. Would you like to come up? All right, we have a proclamation. Whereas the town of Ocean Ridge takes special notice and acknowledges exceptional organizations that help residents who live, work, and play within the jurisdiction. And whereas in 2010, Digital Vibes was founded to reach out to understand youth in Palm Beach County by empowering them through dance, fitness, technology, and the arts. And whereas Digital Vibes partners with the Palm Health Foundation annually to host the Let's Move Commit to Change Physical Activity Challenge, a countywide initiative that focuses on physical activity, nutrition, and healthy behaviors. And whereas Digital Vibes and Palm Health Foundation present the annual challenge, which takes place annually from March 1st to the 31st, and encourages individuals within and beyond Palm Beach County to take charge of their health by participating in fun fitness exercise. And whereas the Let's Move initiative was originally introduced on a national level by First Lady Michelle Obama in 2010, with the goal of decreasing childhood obesity throughout the United States, due to the fact that nearly 1 in 3 children in the United States are overweight or obese. And if this problem persists, 1/3 of all children born in 2000 or later will suffer from diabetes at some point in their lives, or will face other obesity-related health problems such as heart disease, high blood pressure, asthma, and cancer. And whereas Digital Vibes and the Palm Health Foundation invite all residents to take the challenge to move by forming teams, registering online, committing to exercising for at least 30 minutes a day throughout the month of March, and logging their minutes on the Let's Move website, www.letsmovepbc.org. In 2012, Palm Beach County logged 100,000 minutes in the first year of the challenge and have met the challenge every year since, rising in 2023 to over 100 million minutes logged. Now therefore, I, Jeff Pugh, Mayor of Ocean Ridge, do hereby proclaim the month of March as Let's Move Palm Beach County Month, and urge all citizens to join us in moving to improve their fitness, mental health, and overall health. A witness thereof has signed my hand and caused the seal of tablet which to be affixed on March 4th, 2024.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you very much.
I just got one question. I've been talking to my wife because she bought me a Fitbit. And, you know, she's like, I bought this stuff. It's like, let's move, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for having us. And it's something that we're very excited about because we want everyone to move. And then we do a lot with the children as well. And if everyone just take 30 minutes a day, just do something, whatever it is, just move and go out running, walking. If you're not in a position where you can start running yet, you start off by walking for a little bit. Or if you can't do anything at all, you're on the couch, kick your foot, do something, you know, so you can start moving and get the body going. So that way you can help fight obesity. It's also better for everyone's health. So we just wish everybody would be on board with it. So this year, we're hoping to get over to 1.1 million minutes logged. So everyone, get on board and log in your minutes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. What's that?
Picture?
Can you take it right from me? Yeah, it's going on.
Of course.
Can we stand?
What's that?
Yeah.
Can you get everybody?
Did you get everyone?
Yeah, yeah, I'm
There you go.
Yeah.
okay. Ready?
I'm done.
1, 2, 3.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Impact 100, right? Impact 100?
Yes, yes. Yes, we are. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
Remember, everyone, you gotta keep moving,
Yeah.
okay?
Actually, you can every 10 minutes. Get up.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to public comment. Terry?
I do 30 minutes on my electrical machine every morning, and I can't talk. So I watch television. That gets me depressed. And then I do 30 minutes more. But you got to do something. He's right. You know, I don't walk or run or whatever, but I do the machine. So you got to keep moving. What I wanted to talk to you about tonight is that, first of all, it's been just about a year since we bought that conservation wetland, and the town paid $1.5 million for it. And it turns out it was a good investment. Is that right?
That's
I mean,
correct.
We're getting a return on that money. And you remember the place filled up with people supporting that purchase. And people were very happy about it and thought the town really had elevated itself by purchasing the conservation land. Anyway, I would like to have you consider purchasing another parcel of land that's dune property. And that's the old DeLorean property that's at 5115 Old Ocean. Looks abandoned, and windows have been boarded up, the electric and water has been disconnected. And the ownership has switched from John Dragonus to an investor that apparently what happened, and there could be some details in this story that are not completely correct, because I don't know all the details. John didn't tell me this, but he borrowed money to pay the taxes. So he signed a promissory note, backed it up with a mortgage. Well, guess what happened? He didn't pay the promissory note back. And the interest rate went from 13% to 18%. So he was in terrible debt and was borrowing the money to pay the taxes to keep it, because he thought he was going to be able to sell it for a lot of money. That never happened. The ownership was changed. The deed was given up to this investor in lieu of a foreclosure. And I just have some documents that I can give somebody that'll start people off if you think it's worth looking at. There's 3 parcels there. One old parcel is where the building is, which is split right down the middle. 50%, one owner on one side, and some of you might remember Robert Lackey. He was a tile guy. You remember him? Well, he lived on one side and Christine DeLorean lived in the other. And she sold both of those properties to John, like I can't remember the dates, I think it's 2018. At any rate, there's a new owner. One parcel, there's 3 parcels there, but the one parcel is next to the garden club lot that was donated to the town through the county, if you remember. So the town owns the beach access where the garden club is. Well, the lot that's south of that has never been built on. So it's considered vacant land. And it's on the dune, right on top of the dune. So my request, along with lots of other people, I've talked about this before, is attempt to try to negotiate with the owner to see if we could, the town could acquire it and preserve it as a dune parcel. There's lots of details that have to be worked out. He'd have to be willing, but as I understand the current code, he can't build anything bigger than what's already there. Is that right?
Yep.
You're shaking your head, so you
Yes.
know. So the hammer is by the commission has the power to deal with this person in terms of the code enforcement. The structure itself needs to be torn down. So if you would consider at least contacting the owner and try to see if we can move forward with a purchase scheme. You have some money.
Scheme.
Well, you have some money, right?
Mhm.
And you have a reserve, right? So we might be able to pull something off. By the way, the debt on the deed is not a cash transaction. The debt on the deed is all the money that John owed the owner, that's the now owner. So it's something worth looking at, I think. There's a lot of support about keeping that property on the dune, and DEP is not going to allow a structure on that dune parcel, on lot number 1. In my opinion, no one's going to be able to build on the dune itself. So I don't know how you go from here, but
We could, Chris, you want to look into that, please? The consensus from the commissioners look into it?
Yeah, sure.
Mike, you don't happen to know where the septic is there, do you?
I don't. It must be on the vacant land.
That's what I'm thinking.
There's a couple of properties around town that they built on one parcel and they put the
Drainfield.
septic on someone else's. But that one vacant lot has never been built on. So that's the,
Because you can't build with a septic
you'll
system.
do your own research. But
Thank you,
that's the
Terry.
deed and the court file on foreclosure.
Anyone else? He must have been.
Evening. I don't want to get in the habit of being called Terry too. But, Peter Wolf, 5505 North Ocean. 2 hours of pickleball every morning. That's a nice area right out there. If you know, we get a little tape and a net, and we can encourage people to do that. I don't know if Lynn would mind the clicking all the time. I just wanted to thank this commission for the swift response to my request in January for a resolution. I see it on the consent agenda. I want to thank the town attorney for her excellent and speedy rendition of that. It's a paradox in a way that the issue in the resolution is something that I thought in this day and age would never have to be discussed, and yet is something that must be discussed, in my opinion, and you will have, and I hope you all vote in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Anyone else? Public comment?
Sorry, I really didn't want to say anything, but I did want to say that we are done with all the art in town, and we want everyone to know that it's for sale. It all is by town residents. There'll be a booklet outside. But I also want to invite the whole town, which we don't have much of an audience today, to come to the senior care that we're having on the 23rd of March, which is a free event. And we had an ice cream social through Starbright, and people came and some were missed, but we had a great time. So I want to thank the town for allowing us to use the town hall and and being help stewards with us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Moving on to the approval of, oh, we did that. No, the approval of consent agenda, sorry.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, the regular agenda items. Christie? I'll let you read it this time.
You want me to read it, or should we have Madam Clerk read it?
Well, Kelly can read it too if she wants.
Second reading of ordinance 2024-01, an ordinance of the town of Ocean Ridge, Florida, amending the land development code at chapter 64 zoning, article 1, district regulations, section 64-1, RSF and RSE single family residential districts to add a provision authorizing a special design exception by the Planning and Zoning Commission for a pitch roof with a minimum pitch of 312 rise to run, providing for codification, severability, conflicts, and ineffectivity.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. So this is second reading of the ordinance to allow for a special design exception to allow a pitch that would be less than the minimum pitch we allow currently in the town's land development code. It would allow a pitch of up to 312. The approval of this would go before the Planning and Zoning Board at development review, and they would consider the criteria that's applicable to development review as it pertains to a pitched roof, and they could approve this type of design. As you know, this is a request that we received from a local resident.
Okay. Public comment? All right, back to commission, discussion?
Nope, nothing to say about it.
No, I think we had a good conversation last month about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyone want to make a motion?
I move to accept ordinance 2024-01.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, boy, that was the quickest agenda item in probably 9 months. Staff and committee reports. Ms. Manager.
Not going to read my report. It's in the packet. Anybody can read that. But I did want to comment. Last meeting, the commission authorized myself and Commissioner Ayala to work on a cash management policy. We have hammered out the details, and I'm still putting all the verbiage together to send to the attorney for approval. But things are very positive. So hopefully we will have that for the next meeting.
Thank you. All right, is that it?
That's it.
Well,
Can we discuss this report?
I guess we should bring it back to the next meeting.
No, the rest of the town managers.
Actually, I have questions, go ahead.
Yeah, Lynn, I can't quite remember how we left it. You said that you're in the negotiations with Boynton on water.
We've opened the negotiations,
Right,
yes.
but remember the group FGUA
Yes.
that I think we should heavily pursue. It's basically a middleman that comes in, takes all the stress off us, and runs our water, our pipe, our maintenance, and they sort of surcharge a fee to each gallon of water for the town, but we don't have to get involved in water management. And if we have trouble with Boynton, this is an outside contractor that has something like 20 communities
Yes.
that they're already dealing with. So I would heartily encourage that we sit down with these folks as well.
Okay.
I thought, Lynn, when we talked about this in our meeting, I thought that the feeling was that they'd only be willing to do that if we went septic to sewer and they got the total contract. Water plus
That
septic.
is what I believe is their interest, but we can open up discussions with them.
But if we say to them, look, we'll give you the water and when septic to sewer happens,
Yeah, no, I just
Right.
thought that was worth
we'll come
putting
back.
at the table.
Okay, and my last thing, did anybody talk to you about the trash on Old Ocean?
With the pickups?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know,
In terms
who is picking up our trash at
It is
home?
a company called Keiko, C-A.
Is that a landscape company or a trash company? What is it?
I think it is a landscaping company.
It's a landscaping company.
So on Beachway, because that's where I live, 2 weekends ago, you guys saw that? It was unbelievable. No one picks up on Saturday. No one picks up on Sunday, which, okay, I'll give you a break there. The trash can's overflowing. There's 2 bags of trash. there's a broken board, and there's a chair, and what was the other thing that was there? Some tarp or something. So there's a mountain of trash,
Yeah,
literally a mountain of trash. And then I go down there Monday night, figuring the guy will come on Monday. No. So he didn't pick up on Saturday, doesn't pick up on Sunday, doesn't pick up on Monday. Whoever we give this contract to has to pick up on Old Ocean on a Sunday. They have to. And even if it turns out it's only during season, and then we can decide if it's needed off season.
Well, I got something to add to that too. We've got, I mean, no offense, chief, we got, how many people drive by there from the police department? How many our maintenance guys drive by there? So it's incumbent upon the town staff as well, if they see that kind of thing, to report it to you to get this thing done.
Agreed.
Okay?
How's it at Porter?
What'd you say?
The trash at Porter?
It overflows. It's not as bad as at Beachway.
Yeah.
But every crossover where there's trash, it was a mess over the weekend and
Wasn't it a holiday?
today.
I don't think it was a holiday.
It was bad.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Watch out.
Thanks, Steve.
No, this is good.
So, Lucy Brown, Harbor Drive South. You go along Old Ocean with that trash. I mean, you think you are in the middle of the biggest slum in the world, not an upscale Ocean Ridge high-end place. It looks horrible.
So should we pick up more on a Sunday or pick up more on a Saturday?
You've got to pick up on Sunday or late
You've got
Saturday.
to pick up on Sunday, because that's the day people go to the beach and that's the day they generate trash.
How much do we pay
And the
Keiko
other
for
thing
this?
is, on Porter Street, we always had a garbage can down on the sand, just at the bottom of the step. And there are many people that I personally know that walk the beach and pick up trash as they go, and they would come up to our steps and put it in. Now they have to walk all the way up the steps and go all the way out to the road to get to the trash can. It's really, there's no reason it can't be picked up. The trash can down at Dog Beach gets picked up by the county guy all the time. It's
Lynn,
on
could
a
you ask Billy
swing
about that?
thing,
Why the
you know?
trash can's not down there at the bottom of the steps?
Trash can is not down there because we paid out a significant amount of money to a work comp plan for an employee that got injured trying to get the trash off the beach.
All you have to do is get one of those, like they have at Dog Beach, it like swings.
No, it's getting the trash picked up
Big
out of
barrel
the trash
on a
can.
pivot.
You know what?
It just pulls the bag out.
You know what? There's lots of more dangerous things that.
There may be more dangerous.
Well, how about
But it's
this?
causing people to take more steps, and this is Move Palm
Move
Beach
Palm Beach.
month.
Well, how about this? I'll put it in your capable hands and figure out how to get the trash off the,
I'm sorry, are you still on manager report?
yes. And it's not
I'm
public
gonna follow-
comment
I'm
again.
not gonna follow my wife, but I just wanted to get back to this cash management concept.
Well, sorry.
I mean, that was way early in the meeting.
All right, go ahead.
You need to have reserves. We were only be able to cash buy that property last year because we had the money in the bank.
Right.
And it wasn't restricted. So, reducing your cash reserves down to 500,000 is not a good idea. You got a hurricane come through here, you're gonna need $3 or $4 million immediately. And if you have an opportunity to purchase a piece of property or a piece of equipment, you got the money. Thank you.
Explain these.
Do you want, I mean,
Let Ainer
can I
explain
speak to
that.
that?
Go ahead.
Do you want to?
Go ahead, Einar.
We're not reducing our cash. We have a surplus of about $5.2 million. And it's all going to be liquid, accessible within 24 hours. This is just how much we're keeping in cash in our bank account at a very low interest rate. So we're not changing our surplus, we're just moving around where our reserves are invested. And we can call and have the money in 24 hours. Any emergency doesn't need the money any quicker than that.
And what's the difference in interest on the
The
U.S.?
difference in interest rates between 1% and 5.6 or 5.4.
5.5.
5.5%, so that's meaningful interest.
So it's not a penalty to pull it out of the 5%?
No, it's fully liquid. It's
No,
in an investment pool.
Well, I think that this is the
24
whole
hours.
reason why we were gonna bring this up when you had all the information for next meeting, was it not?
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Okay. So let's table it, thank you.
Sounds good, so.
Right, sounds great. All right. Christie,
I don't have any report, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
any questions for Christie?
I guess maybe update on what's happening with Turtle Beach. And the sign.
We're working on it.
All right, thank you. Scott?
My report's in your packet if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I will remind everybody that it is turtle season started, so lights on the beach, have a light on the beach, please darken it.
How are we doing on dogs on the beach?
I think last month we gave out 7 fines and warnings.
Oh, that's right, that one lady, yeah.
It's being enforced.
Any questions for the chief? Wow, thank you, chief. Commissioner comment?
Yes, I was approached by a group of residents about parking problems on Fayette. Rather than me speaking, I know there's some representatives from Fayette here that probably could do a much better job explaining the situation.
Hi, I'm Sarah Stein, 16 Janet. We've had an increase in beachgoers and fishermen parking on Fayette to access the beach. They're not friends of residents, they're not invited guests, and they're there. We're requesting that no parking signs can be placed on the street, much as like Beachway has. I know that there's a town code that says that if a street is not 30 feet wide, which ours is not, that it will be able to have signs on one side, but we just barely make a little over 20, and that's section 5477. I can give you this if you like to see it. The problem, one reason why I think we're having a problem is that this sign, there are 2 of these signs as you come over Woolbright, and this one denotes 0.7 miles toward our street. You know, the first street there is Fayette, and then we've got the crosswalk, and that kind of indicates a destination. So it seems logical that people turn and they think they can park there. So we'd like to know if we can do that.
So let me just get some specifics to make sure everyone understands this. My understanding is that the end of Fayette, the east end of Fayette, it's a dead end.
Yeah.
It really doesn't have a cul-de-sac, it just has a
No.
dead end. There's a no parking sign there that with arrows pointing north and south.
Right.
So what the fishermen are doing and what the beach goers are doing is they're parking on the side of the street coming back towards A1A. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chief. So what Fayette needs, and the town has provided in other instances, is simply signs, no parking, and I didn't know that you only need them on one side of the street and that it applies to both.
Well, here, can I give you this? And then it's a little more.
Actually, give it to the chief, because
Yeah.
he's the one
What
that's.
are the 2 signs right on A1A though?
That's dead end and
Here you
no beach through pass.
Here you go.
But that's the one that
No,
kind
no,
of
that-
implies, and people are
The
just.
red
making
signs you have right at the-
Yeah, but you know, it's kind of funny because you're driving and people have already they've already kind of made the turn when they see them. You know, you don't really see them before you've already.
But we're gonna go on the strategy that if there are no parking signs, and does it apply to both sides if you put it on
You would
one?
have to specify both sides.
You have to sign both sides.
Yeah.
And if
Okay.
you want a
So
specific
if
area,
it's-
end to end.
Yeah.
Right,
frame.
precisely. If you put it down, I guess maybe 2 on each side, saying no parking back to A1A or something, we can put the wording we want.
Or end to end.
Now, that does, now, when you say no parking, that applies to every single person that parks there.
Correct.
Yeah, well.
Yes.
And the residents at fault.
Except I notice on Old Ocean, they have lawn people.
Like I said, lawn
They
people,
have
pool people.
Pool,
Yeah.
pool service. I would imagine if your septic tank blows up, that would be an exception, the septic.
Well, what happened, I got a question for you. What happened if your house cleaner is parked on the street? Or you have guests?
That would, well, I would think a private vehicle
Mhm.
would not be a business vehicle. I would think, I had main drain plumbing there lately
So-
because everything in my house overflowed and they had bigger equipment, they had to get on the roof.
But I think Jeff's asking a different question, and
I
I talked to
understand.
Sarah about this, and she's talked to the residents. Let's say you're having a Super Bowl party.
Yeah,
The police can come and ticket every car
right.
cast at that party, and the residents are okay with that.
Right, well, the residents, what we've said is that in all the condos, people are told to Uber.
Well,
I
how
mean, when
many,
you have a condo and you have one parking place,
Mhm.
you can't have 25 people.
well, my question is, how many people on Fayette are in favor of this versus, I mean, because you've come here.
Everyone I've spoken to except one resident who's in Canada,
Mhm.
and I don't have any of his contact information. That's my next door neighbor.
Well, Chief, what is the protocol in doing that?
You'd have to pass a parking ordinance for no parking on that street, post it for us to enforce it. And figure out how you want to post it. If your approval of it.
So the people on the street, there's no type of, they have to come with so many people wanting it or not wanting it. It's just we make the decision and put the signs up? Christie?
Christie wants to say something.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see how she does feel.
Chair, I think there's authority given to our traffic engineer, which, we're not sure who our traffic engineer is. but
Is there
it
over there?
in
He's
his
sitting right next to you.
place That he could install signs. I know in the past when this issue has come up, the concern that the commission just discussed in terms of if you put no parking signs on Fayette, it's gonna be enforced regardless of who's parking there. So lawn trucks, maintenance trucks, friends and family visiting, they're all gonna get parking tickets. And that's been the problem in the past, and folks are like, well, I don't want all my people to be ticketed. If that's changed and now Fayette wants no parking, then it's up to the chief of police.
In
There is an
reality,
ordinance
the
in
police
effect
aren't
right now,
gonna
there's no
continue.
overnight parking for any street in town
Until 5
between the
a.m.
hours of 2 and
2 and 5 a.m. Right.
And there's also no beach parking, right?
Well, I think
People
they have a
parking-
sign, they have a sign that says no beach parking.
We,
How are we gonna enforce
we
it?
can't, we
Yeah.
don't really have it. We do have a sign at the base of the street that's been there since I was little. And it's a little sign and it says no parking and it has 2 arrows. But when I did call to report that I had a strange vehicle parked right at my walkway, I couldn't even walk down my driveway because there was this guy who was fishing. The officer who came told me that sign wasn't applicable because it was indicating no parking just right there. So he said, you've got to go further. So
In reality though, because I know on Beachway there's no parking, the lawn guys do park there. So I think the police understand the difference between
A
a
commercial.
service truck, right?
Well, the
And-
police
and
have
the
discretion.
pool
Correct.
service-
Exactly.
The pool service
Common
comes to
sense.
service the big townhouse that's right next to the piece of property that you indicated earlier that was, you wanted for the dune.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the great big, I don't know the address.
Well,
Have we ever looked at resident?
They park there, on Old Ocean, very often. You have
Oh, yeah,
lawn
that's it.
people, you have the.
well, Chief, what is
But
your thoughts on
actually,
this?
one more thing is when a vehicle is parked on both sides, there's no room for an emergency vehicle to come down. It wouldn't be an ambulance or a fire truck, wouldn't be able to make it through the two. I was gonna take photos, but I thought that was a little overkill. You kind of understand, but it's a narrow street, and you need to get through. So anyway.
Would the other people on your street
Are
want to
all-
give a little leeway?
That's fine.
Okay, I mean, as opposed to excluding all parking.
I think that would be great. I think service vehicles ought to be allowed to be there. I just think that private vehicles, and I think we're all trying to discourage an open invitation for everyone, to just start parking in front of our homes.
Christie, would we need to have all the residents sign something that said
I
they
can
agree
do
with this?
that.
I would say we need a written form.
I'll do a petition if you want.
Just because they bought houses where there was parking allowed, and now if we take away the parking, I don't know if that creates a.
Parking is not allowed on any city streets. That's by ordinance. But this is an issue that we're seeing more and more where residents have more than one vehicle, and when they have service vehicles and things like that come out, it might be time to consider a resident parking program where residents get,
Stickers, yeah.
a certain number of parking stickers for their property, whether it be for the residents or for visitors, like their service vehicles. And that would help the police department because all
parking
other
by
areas
permit.
would be towed.
You'd have to issue permits and they'd have to apply for, by a permit, you still have to have the signs that
That'd
say
be
no
right.
parking only.
Right, but we'd want to, then we'd put up resident parking only tow away zone, and that gives the police easy ability to tow away
So-
unauthorized.
Right, well,
Then the,
Great.
how many streets do you eventually?
That's
all
why I'm
streets get
saying for the
different
entire
permits?
town.
That's,
And it's something to consider.
I think we just apply common sense. I know in the Beachway neighborhood, it's very simple. There's no parking on the street. But what people do is they get a card and sometimes it's laminated, sometimes it's not. And it says guest at 2 Osprey or whatever.
Right.
And they stick it on the car.
And the guests at
In
2
the store.
Osprey should
We
park
give
in front of 2
permission when
Osprey.
people call
Right.
for
Right.
parties.
If
Not
we're gonna have a
in
big
front of
party,
my
we'll call.
In theory,
You
yeah.
don't want to call every day that there's gonna be a guest parked in the street.
seems like common sense.
All right,
Right.
so back to the chief. So what is your opinion on putting no parking signs up and down Fayette?
If it's a consensus of the street and we come up with a sensible way to, and how to enforce it, I think the permit by parking only would solve the best.
Okay, so how do you want?
If we have a written form from all
Do you want
the,
me to write the form? I mean,
if you can,
I need
we can
your
get
verbiage,
consent from
though.
all the owners and commission doesn't have a problem, we can put signs.
Okay. You don't think we need to put signs?
I said, if you
Oh.
think it's
Because
that
otherwise,
that
how
much
do-
of a
No,
problem.
he's saying he'll put signs up, but you've got to get all the residents to sign something.
Right,
To make sure
okay.
they agree with it.
That's not a
Or
problem.
consensus.
When do you want it? Tomorrow?
Yeah, you can, anytime.
Okay.
Sooner than later because
Then
of seasons.
we're-
some
The
people-
town's gonna have to incur the cost of the signs.
We're talking 4 signs.
If the signs are that expensive, I'll pay for them, okay? Just saying. Offer.
We have a lot of signs.
They recorded that.
I know.
Is that it, Steve?
Yeah, in these parking things, I think we lose sight of common sense sometimes when we get into the weeds here. We're a small town. If it's a resident has 2 parking spots in their garage, I bet you this happens on Hudson Street, right? And the guy having a dinner party, 2 people parking the road, and well, we just stick the thing on the windshield wiper, right? End of story.
We do have car decals that we issue here in town too. I don't know if everybody knows
Do they
that.
still issue them?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it happens, your personal car, you should have one on each one of your cars, so the town knows it's your car, and pretty abundantly clear that would make it easier for the police department.
That's, yeah, the town, from my experience with permit parking, it's
It's,
for the street name is on it. If you just have a blanket sticker, then anybody could park.
One of the other things we're going to do on that meeting for coming up was, we talked about permitting companies too, where we used to give stickers to companies, and the companies put their sticker on the back of their service trucks. Because if I was a service guy and I knew that, hey, they allow service companies to park on the road, I'd come with my fishing pole and park on the road and then go fishing, right? Because it's a service truck. So the issuing those stickers to the lawn people and the service people, I think, is one of the things we should bring back.
I think I don't know, correct me, we did away with that years ago because there was some issue with.
Well, it was because it was a decal, and Gulfstream still does it. So it was a business tax thing. So we can get around that we can actually give them the stickers to put on their vehicle.
Do we still charge $50 a year to do service in Ocean Ridge?
No,
That's what we got rid of because that was the tax.
right, but that doesn't mean we can't register the companies to come in here, because I think that's a very big problem. We should be registering the people who come in here, because by registering them, we can tell if they're licensed and insured. And it protects the residents.
We do currently register as of October 1, we started registering.
What happened?
As of October 1, all
Right.
vendors, contractors have to be registered.
Yep.
in town.
So it's
That's
a free
contractors, but
registration.
does that include like lawn service and, okay.
All right. So we're on page, sure.
I don't have to come up there, but
Oh,
Chrissy can check this out. Years ago, all our people who worked in Ocean Ridge had to be registered, had to be insured, and they had to get stickers. And then something happened legally that we weren't allowed to do this,
We just did, yeah.
and that's when it stopped. So I do remember, all of that, but I think it was a legal issue why we can't insist that they be.
It was a business tax, that's what it was.
But now we have a system in
Yeah,
place
right.
where they have to register to do work, but it costs zero.
Well,
It's a
Chief?
voluntary,
It's a-
I believe it would have to be a voluntary, saying you can't force people to get a sticker, but it would be on a voluntary basis.
No, we don't give a sticker anymore, but they have to be registered to do work.
They have to be registered to do work. We don't issue a permit unless they are registered.
So how do you enforce that?
let's see,
It's a building permit.
Building permit, yeah.
okay, we're talking
That
two
doesn't-
different, okay.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
that
want
doesn't
to belabor
affect
this,
pool people or
but
lawn
we're
people.
talking two different things here. Service people, lawn, pool, whatever, it's not a permittable thing.
Correct.
So you're talking about, we have to sign up if you're doing something that takes a permit. Okay. We're talking about service because of the parking issue. So that's something that we really should work on and figure how we're gonna do it. And really should talk to Goshen about it, because I still pay when they send me the bill and they give me stickers. So I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it.
So am I understanding Kelly correctly? If you service, you don't have to register.
That's correct.
We encourage it, but we.
Only if you have a permit. You need a permit. So that's the conundrum here. So could you look into that for me,
Sure.
please?
And it's gonna need Christie as well.
Mhm.
Because last time she ruled we didn't like it, so we're gonna change it now.
All right, any other public, come on, Betty.
Betty Baker, 1 East Ocean Avenue. Parking has become more than a big issue. Most of the utility people, your lawn people, your spray people think they can park on the sidewalk or in the middle of the street and put out a cone rather than park in the person's driveway. And I think probably the parking situation should be studied all over and come up with a comprehensive plan. And then make your money by ticketing people and fining them.
Yes, Joe?
Joe Belmonte, 5600 North Ocean. When Sarah was up here, she didn't go into detail about what's happening with her particular place because in a way, there is a cul-de-sac at the end of Fayette and it's her driveway. And every car that goes down there, because they see the sign, no through to the beach or no beach parking, first thing somebody in town that's a stranger goes down that road because they think there is really a beach access. And they go down the end, they turn in her driveway. And if she has people visiting, little kids crawling around on the lawn or something like that, it's a very dangerous situation. So I think she did bring up a point where her driveway can be very, very dangerous down there.
Thank you, Joe. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Margaret Shaw, 5510 with Ocean Boulevard. The crosswalk was brought up, so I want to ask the police chief, how can we stop? I mean, I can stand at the crosswalk and people are just whizzing by. Sometimes I take my phone and they slow down because they think I'm going to take a picture of their license plate and find them. And I have taken pictures of license plates, but what can we do to enforce this?
An officer has to see the infraction. If he sees the infraction, we can enforce it, and we do.
All right. So there's no sense bringing out my camera to take a picture.
Well, but you're dissuading them from,
I know,
going-
they're letting me cross, but I'm thinking, isn't there a way that they should?
If she shoots a video and includes a license plate, does that work for you or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta call them. Do you still have the little sign that goes in the middle of the road that says,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine,
okay.
definitely, but some
My fear
people.
is if they see a police car, they're probably not gonna do it.
Right, I know.
And if they don't see a police car, Or do they, some of them, are they mistakes? Do people stop? People do stop. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, there's,
So it doesn't help for me to take a picture of the license.
well, like you said, you
Yeah.
can.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on the parking issue? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. It's been a great meeting. Get home early. Remember, clocks forward this weekend, right? Spring ahead. Meeting adjourned. Thank you. I thought you didn't say anything, Dave, about the crosswalk.